A national championship in basketball decided last night. That's part of the mix here as we welcome you to the Tuesday edition of America's Forum. I'm J.D. Hayworth.
And I'm John Bachman. J.D., let's start with your old stomping grounds on Capitol Hill and the powerful House Ways and Means Committee. Dave Camp, who you see right here, is chairman of that committee, says a former Internal Revenue Services official may have committed crimes, all part of the agency's Tea Party scrutiny scandal. Camp says investigators have now uncovered enough evidence to move ahead with possible contempt charges. The chairman has set a vote for that in his committee tomorrow. The GOP Control Committee will likely vote to refer Lois Lerner, once the head honcho at the agency's tax-exempt division, to the Department of Justice for possible criminal prosecution. Camp, who is retiring at the end of his term, did not specify which laws Lerner may have broken. Lerner's lawyer says she's clean, and he emailed a one-word response to Camp's announcement. That word, ridiculous. And John Boehner recently discussed the legality, or perhaps we should say potential illegality, of the IRS scandal, and he says he wants the DOJ to throw the book at the responsible party or parties at the IRS.
Someone asked me the question, well, who should be fired? So I don't care who's going to be fired. I want to know who's going to jail. And the fact is that the IRS, there are specific laws that protect taxpayers and force the IRS to comply with the law. Somebody at the IRS violated the law.
Boehner appearing last night on Fox News. And more election year legislation to resume long-term jobless benefits is headed to the House, where a small band of GOP congressmen is leaning on the Speaker to allow a vote on extending unemployment benefits to more than 2 million Americans. The democratically controlled Senate already passed a bill to do just that by a margin of 59 to 38, but many Republicans in the upper chamber voted against it, including Wyoming Senator John Barrasso.
But I think we ought to focus on getting people back to work at home, and there are lots of things that we can do with that. One of the proposals that I had, an amendment to this unemployment insurance extension, was to approve the Keystone XL pipeline.
Well, there you go. Senator Barrasso says that would have given the House some incentive to pass the Senate's long-term unemployment package. And as we mentioned earlier, the bill is in the House in Speaker Boehner's court right now. Speaker Boehner's spokesman, Michael Steele, says, quote, as the Speaker said months ago, we are willing to look at extending emergency unemployment insurance as long as it includes provisions to help create more private sector jobs. That from Michael Steele, spokesman for John Boehner. And as you heard from Speaker Boehner, he seems to be more focused on putting someone from the IRS in jail, and we'll have more on that, of course, later in the show.
Hey, John, you got to take a look at who got caught sitting together at the NCAA championship basketball game last night. Take a look at this. Do not adjust your screens. There they are in the box of Cowboys owner Jerry Jones, two former presidents front and center there, Bill Clinton and George W. Bush, along with Cowboys quarterback Tony Romo. Now, we can tell you what happened on the court. The Huskies of UConn, that would be the University of Connecticut, defeating those Kentucky Wildcats 60 to 54. Shabazz Napier poured in a game-high 22 points, named the Final Four's most outstanding player. But Shabazz also sparked a bit of controversy when asked about the prospect of collegiate athletes getting paid.
At the end of the day, to certain points, we as student athletes, get utilized for what we do so well, and we definitely, we're definitely best to get a scholarship to our universities. But at the end of the day, that doesn't cover everything. We do have hungry nights that we don't have enough money to get food, and sometimes, needed money is needed.
Well, that is Shabazz Napier, and of course the Huskies won the national championship, and Shabazz may win his own award for controversial comment. As a guy who went to college on an athletic grant and aid, let me assure you the training table gives you plenty to eat. I don't know what the situation is at UConn, but I'm guessing they have a training table. With John Bachman and yours truly, J.D. Hayworth. It's our old pal Kirtle and former Congressman Alan West. Your new book is out, Guardian of the Republic. And so writer's cramp now gone away after, I don't know, did you do longhand or do the word processor in writing the book?
No, we typed it out, but of course we wrote out the outline, a lot of thoughts, but it was a good, smooth process.
Well, Guardian of the Republic, and you mentioned yesterday Dr. Franklin's famous observation when he was asked by that Philadelphia socialite, what form of government have you given us? A republic if you can keep it. Now, transitioning off that last comment by young Mr. Napier, an outstanding athlete, talking about having collegiate athletes getting paid and employing the language of a victim. Some nights, quote, we go hungry. Your take on that comment and college sports in general and the prospect of athletes being paid?
Well, first of all, I will tell you that having been in Iraq and Afghanistan, I've seen kids that were going hungry. And Shabazz Napier does not look like a person that's going hungry. Maybe in the middle of the night he wants to get a bag of potato chips like that or something like that. It's not available. But this is also an extension of getting away from a republic and getting more so to a welfare nanny state, a dependency society where everyone considers himself to be a victim. Now, here's a young man that is getting an opportunity to go to a very good, prestigious university, get a great education. Now he's an MVP of the Final Four, so without a doubt, he's going to get an opportunity to go on and probably play in the National Basketball Association, the NBA. But the thing is this, the NCAA needs to get ahead of this and give these kids a stipend, no doubt about it, $300, $400 while they're in their season. But to think that we're all of a sudden going to create sports mercenaries, we're going to pay kids to go to college, well, guess what's going to happen? If you're a small college, you're not going to, get the top athletes because you're not going to be able to pay them enough. And we don't need unions getting involved with college sports. Just don't.
All right, well, this is a whole other debate we want to leave for another day because we got a lot to get to here. And first, we're going to talk about the Reverend Al Sharpton, the political activist and TV host, and now also possibly an FBI informant. The story broke yesterday on the website The Smoking Gun. Today, Sharpton is denying the report. However, the Smoking Gun cites NYPD and FBI reports to build up their story, and those official and once secret documents, investigators, quote, vouched for him as a reliable, productive, and accurate source of information about underworld figures. That includes members of the notorious violent Genovese crime family and other figures with nicknames like Fritzy and Baldy Don. This was all happening in the mid-1980s to early 1990s, around the same time as the Tawana Brawley case that Sharpton was involved in. But more recently, as of today, Sharpton is telling the media that he is no snitch and that, quote, if he brought down the mob, he wants his own ticker tape parade.
Simple question to ask, Colonel West. Does Reverend Al deserve that ticker tape parade?
No, absolutely not. If you're doing something like that, which the FBI and the NYPD has specified, that's part of your public duty. If he's supposedly a leader in the minority community, he's helping to make sure that drugs and nefarious criminal activity is not happening, that's something you should be more than willing to do. But, the last thing we need to do is celebrate, Al Sharpton. At least he's not wearing those same jumpsuits, and he's lost some weight since those days.
That's right. That was a different Al Sharpton, and we'll leave that issue there because we do want to talk about what the president is up to as well today, signing 2 new executive orders. Part of his issue here, an election year issue for Democrats as well, trying to highlight the importance of whatever income equality might be. Part and parcel also what the Democrats want to do. They have their own bill in the Senate that they have signed. According to the AP, the Senate bill would allow private lawsuits in addition to the NLRB complaints about people disclosing what they make in these federal jobs. These, of course, lawsuits will be more penalizing in these situations, so maybe opening up the door for more litigation, more lawsuits.
And the party of the Trial Lawyers Association would be happy to create more litigation for, the #1 contributor to their cause. Look, this once again is a political issue. This once again is the low-hanging political fruit for Barack Obama and the Democrats to therefore go out and beat the Republicans over the head saying they don't want women to have the same amount of compensation in the workplace. Albeit we saw Jay Carney kind of stumble over the question when he was asked about the disparity in the White House itself. But the most important thing is that create the right policies, tax, regulatory, and monetary policies, so that these businesses can pay people.
That's right.
Alan, lightning round. Speaker Boehner says somebody from the IRS needs to go to jail. Quickly, your thoughts on that?
They should have taken care of Lois Lerner back the first time when she testified and took the fifth. Now, events have gotten them behind the power curve, and it looks like they're just playing a game of politics.
Interesting take there. More to come here on America's Forum straight ahead. We'll be talking with Senator Mike Lee of Utah. We hope he's in a meeting right now. Try to get to him, get his take on Obamacare and crony capitalism. Plus, we want to hear from you as well. Your chance to write in here on America's Forum. Reach out to us on social media. On Twitter, it's @NewsmaxTV, #America's Forum. The email address also up on the screen there. And you can also find us on Facebook, of course, facebook.com/NewsmaxTV. More ahead right here.